something that we call the ABCs of Riverside, which stands for academics, basketball, and community. So if there's one thing that you walk away from tonight, it's as easy as ABC. What is Riverside about? ABCs, academics, basketball, and community. Over the years, we have a rich legacy. We are known for producing some NBA greats, also McDonald All-Americans. We have Ty Jerome, Donovan Mitchell, Eric Paschal, Chris Mulling, Lamar Odom, Meta World Peace, Elton Brand, Kenny Anderson, and the list goes on in terms of our history as a program. But as I said before, everything about Riverside is now focused on what we call the ABCs. We provide academic support for all our kids. We use basketball as our tool to influence and get the kids in the building. And then we try to make sure that they're um, going back into the communities, providing, good citizenship, helping them encourage to be instruments of change and things of that nature. In 2022, we had 100% high school graduation rate. We also had 100% college acceptance. And through our board and other efforts, we gave away about $70,000 in high school scholarships. And we not gave, but our students have earned approximately $2.43 million in scholarships and grants for our class of 2022, which is exciting. From a demographic perspective, 50% of our families are coming from Washington Heights, Harlem, and the Bronx. 70% of our families have incomes that are below $90,000 a year. And as a program, we take pride that 90% of our students are actually coming from underrepresented groups. And you can see here, there's kind of like our charts that break down our incomes, our geographies, and our race. We start as early as fifth grade with our early age program. This is now referred to as a Hawks in Training program, or Baby Hawks, sorry. We have Grow Our Game, which is for ages 5 to 8 for girls. We have Hawks in Training, which is ages 5 through 8 for boys. Both of these programs run on Saturday. Our middle school program, it's called the Leadership Academy. We have over 90 boys and girls in 5th through 8th grade that are participating on our basketball teams. But we also have another program which is focused on a community league aspect of the program, which is bringing another 40 or 50 kids through that, actually more. We have a Saturday Night Lights program that we were one of the pilot programs through the district attorney's office that runs every Saturday. We have our Summer Leadership Academy that this year will run from July 31st to August. It's a 4-week camp, not 3 weeks. We focus on robotics, local civics instruction, basketball, and we take the kids on field trips and things of that nature. In the month of June, end of June and all through July, we run weekly basketball camps for kids ages 5 all the way up to like 8th grade. We have basketball camps for them to participate. We offer free tutoring. Anybody in our program that gets a C or below has to do mandatory tutoring, but we also have tutoring available as a community resource to anyone that's in our program as well, through our SNL program, through our Leadership Academy program, after school programs, our skills and drills. We offer tax exam prep and SSAT prep. Tax exam prep is the Catholic high school entrance exam. We offer that in September and October of every year to prepare kids for the testing that's going to take place in November. SSAT prep is for kids that want to go to boarding school, and that's given as needed depending on the class that we have. We have a partnership with West Harlem Development Corporation, and we also focus on community events. Our Riverside College Bound program is an initiative that focuses on the 90 boys and high school girls teams on our travel basketball team so that when they go out, it's not just about basketball, but we're trying to expose them to the collegiate atmosphere. So when we go to Mesa, Arizona, we may be visiting Phoenix University. If we're going to be in Kansas for a tournament, we're going to Kansas State. We found that when we polled some of our student athletes, we're finding that 61% of the students have never visited a college outside of New York. So that's why it's important for us to make sure that when we go on these trips, that we're trying to expose them to different opportunities. Every Wednesday, starting tomorrow, all the way through the end of June, we have something called our College Bound workshops. These workshops are specifically designed to educate all of our students and parents on the application and the college process of, application, financial aid, fit factors, how to get recruited, college in New York State and beyond. It's really a series of workshops that we do to help them make them well-rounded and prepare them for college. In the month of June, we do 4 weeks of financial literacy. We have our junior board members who are part of Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citi Global, that'll come in and they'll do workshops on credit cards, the importance of, credit, how to do banking statements, buying a home, and try to prepare the kids and have them think about other things around the financial side. We talk about cryptocurrencies. We try to expose them to everything. Here are some of the...
We're at 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. Here's some of the schools that our kids go to, the universities, and then more importantly, academics. We do SSAT prep, ACT prep, and then academic showcase we'll talk. But here are some of the upcoming events we have. Our Leadership Academy, that's the community league. That's every Friday and Saturday in our church. And then we have our invitational. And then our summer academy, we'll be taking, signups for. And then our summer camps. And then I'll just say, here's our board of directors. And thank you. So if I went over, I apologize, but I appreciate you guys very much for your time and letting us partake here. Any questions? Let me know.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to use the raise hand function, but I realize someone may be calling in, so you may have to unmute yourself or put something in the chat. I see some rounds of applause there. Or Stacey, do you have a question? Okay. Making sure. All right, wonderful. I do have a question for you. Are you hiring anyone for summer youth this summer?
We are doing a couple programs for the summer. We may have something through SYEP. We're doing some work with Up to Us. We're getting some summer vistas. That's Volunteers in Service to America. We have 3 candidates coming through that program. And I'm not sure what we're going to get from SYEP. We had 1 or 2 last summer, and I think we're looking at possibly having more, but I'm not exactly sure where that process is at right now. But that's what we currently have in the works for summer youth employment.
All right, sounds good. Let us know if you need help with that. I see Lillian has her hand up. If you have any questions about the SYEP process, please let us know. We are in constant contact with DYCD, and so we can certainly be of assistance with there. Lillian, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Lillian. I'm the Executive Director of Artistic Dreams International. So we're devoted to arts education in public schools. My question is, can you tell me a little bit more about your summer program and whether, for collaborative purposes in the future, whether you bring in other types of workshops like art for the kids, or is it fully just focused on academics or basketball?
I will turn that over. Tony, you want to field that?
Yes, so we always look for collaborations. We normally would like to do that on open hours for our gym space, which is Saturdays from 4 to 8. That's the carved out hours for SNL. So if you want to, I'm part of the meeting structure already, so you can always relate to me when it comes to stuff like that. Any collaborations, just let me know.
As far as the summer academy specifically, Lillian, if you are looking to do something, we could look at a collaboration. Right now, we have a partnership with local civics with Bev Leon. She comes in and she does civic instruction, civil engagement. We have a partnership with kids. I messed up the name, but we do coding and robotics. So if you're looking to try to bring an artistic element for a couple of days, that's something that Tony, myself could meet with you and kind of strategize and figure out where we can fit you in the calendar. We have 4 weeks of activities that we are planning. We do trips and we do a lot of in-house stuff. So there is flexibility to try to accommodate some collaborations between organizations. We're 100% flexible in that area. We're not edged in stone where, we can't be flexible. So we do have that flexibility. Did I answer your question?
Great, thank you. Could you please share your emails?
I was going to say.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'll reach out.
Yes, and then important thing I want to say too, we have our Leadership Academy that starts every Tuesday and Thursday. We are looking for volunteers as well. We have the academic portion where we have a Leadership Academy aide. So we're looking for volunteers that may want to come from the time of 5:30 to about 7 o'clock that can help assist in the classroom with homework help, tutoring, workshops, mentoring, exercises as well. So if anyone is looking for volunteers for their staff or want to get involved, please reach out as well, because we are actively looking for people to help in that space as well. We have about 20 to 30 kids on a Tuesday and Thursday, boys and girls, and it can get a little crazy. So we're looking for help in that area too.
And then my last
And I'll
question
put my
would be,
email if
yes, thank you. I
Yep.
have an additional question. Is there a cost at any time of the year? Is there a cost to the student?
so. The way that we structure the program, yeah, we try to get sponsorships through donations and giving. So most of the stuff is free. For our summer academy, there is a charge for it, but if you're in MCB9, if you are a member of SNL, or you're a member of our after school program, it's 100% free, but it carries like a $375 per week cost for that. If you're not one of those three particular classifications of kids, but we also do work with financial needs-based kids and things of that nature. So ideally, we don't try to turn anyone away, if that answers the question.
Great.
And Tony could add to it if you want.
We work in CD9, so I'm asking because we could always invite our own kids
Yes,
to attend. Thank you so much.
yes.
I have
And then I
another
think,
question.
And we're working
Yeah.
stuff through West Harlem. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
All right, real quick, I have another question from Marissa. Please feel free to unmute yourself, Marissa, and ask your question.
Okay, I know you have to go. As a former college basketball player, I was just curious about the basketball part. How do you integrate that with academics, and how do you recruit? Is there a tryout process, or do you accept anyone?
So the leadership, just to give you a little background to go forward, the Leadership Academy was birthed out of necessity because as an entity, we were known for elite basketball. We have 300 to 400 kids that are coming to try out for our teams, and we can only take 10 to 12. The Leadership Academy is focused on 5th through 8th grade, where we started using the resources of basketball to have kids come and quote unquote try out. But these teams are more developmental teams and not your elite teams that are traveling across the country, going to Atlanta, going to Maryland. They're two different types of kids, calibers of kids. So we do have tryouts, but the tryouts that we have for the Leadership Academy specifically are kind of everybody's going to make the team type of situation. And then we created the Community League this month. We just launched it to give the kids a place to compete against other developmental teams. That the kids love basketball. We're trying to create the safe space for them, get them out of the projects, get them away from the gun violence, and give them into a place where we can control the positive messaging. This is not the, hey, stupid. This is not the environment that we're, doing here. It's everything, hey, shoot the ball, no problem, let's go. Positive, social emotional learning. We have Hello Insights partnerships that I didn't mention to measure our impact and how they're being affected. We do pre and post surveys, but so it's open and really in all regards to have them come, Marissa, if that answers your question, for tryouts. And then we incorporate basketball from 4 to 5:30, 4 to 5:15 is basketball. Skills and drills, work on your layups, work on your shoots. And then from 5:15, we transition to the classroom where we're doing homework, help, tutoring, special guest speakers. Like next week, Tuesday the 18th, we'll share this. We have Dr. Perry coming from Harlem Capital Prep. He'll be coming as a keynote to speak to the kids and the parents, talk about his mission, his vision. So he'll be there on Tuesday the 18th. So we have things like that we expose the kids to as well. Lawyers come in. We have different college coaches. Mano Watson from Point Guard College will come and talk about basketball and academics. So we try to expose them to a lot of different things.
And is there an agreement
Oh, go ahead.
that if they're going to do the basketball portion, they also have to do the academic portion?
The only way that they can play in the community league is if they do the academics. So I'm glad you asked that because that is a major emphasis. If you don't come and do academics, you're not playing. And that's a very strict policy. It's been a little fluctuating sometimes, but that's it. If you don't academics, you don't do the A, you don't get the B. And then we give you a C you later.
That's brilliant.
That's good. That is brilliant. Good. Keep them to task. Very good. Chris, are you able to share your presentation with us via email?
Yes, absolutely. What I'll do is I'll shoot it over to Tony Hargraves, and
Anthony?
then I
Okay.
have Tony disseminate it. Yeah, Tony will send it out to you guys.
Okay, absolutely wonderful. Fantastic presentation. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations on your grant. And Anthony, let us know how things are going in the church with everything, the new change. Okay, keep us up to beat, please. All right.
Understood. I got
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time,
Thank you all
everybody.
for your time, and I
Thank
appreciate
you.
the hospitality. I'm training to be a referee, so this works out perfect.
I love it. Good luck.
All
Before
right.
you,
Thank
before
you.
you,
I know I need it. These crazy parents.
before
Oh,
you
Jerry
leave,
Take care,
Johnson has
everybody.
something to say.
yes, great presentation. On Tuesday, what time is Dr. Perry going to be there? On 18th?
He'll be there at 6 p.m. is the scheduled time. I'm waiting for the flyer. His organization is sending that over. It should have it later today or first thing in the morning, and then you'll start seeing it published on our Instagram, our LinkedIn. But he should be there from 6 p.m. We're gonna bring pizza, soda, some things in. We'll have parents invited as well, and it'll be open to the community. It'll be in Martin Luther King Room 311.
Nice. Good.
Very nice. Yeah, very
Congratulations.
exciting.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I just want to make a quick announcement
Okay.
that my co-chair, Deirdre McIntosh Brown, has joined us. So please feel free to ask Deirdre questions as well if you need to in the chat. And let's move along the agenda. Our next presentation, or well, technically our first presentation, but we're going to go to, ACT. That's right. Summarie is here. And I'm a big fan of ACT program with St. John Divine. Summarie, feel free to unmute yourself. Do you need to have to show
Yes.
slides?
Yes,
Yes. Okay. Give me one moment.
a little hard to follow that one now. You know how.
You already know these meetings are full of great organizations, yourself included. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay. So hi, everyone. I'm from the ACT programs here at the Cathedral St. John the Divine. And let me just see how we do this. Okay. So this is our 53rd year. I've been here for 33 of those 53 years. The Cathedral St. John has a lot of land and acres, and a lot of our programs are outdoors, as you can see. And so, oops, let me see how we do this. Hang on one second. There we go. So in 1971, ACT was part of the Cathedral School, a private school, and someone noticed that a lot of the children who were in financial aid didn't get to go away for the summer or when schools were closed for the holidays. And so they created a camp that really is a country-like experience in the middle of the city. And then a couple of years later, they then started offering after-school program to help with tutoring and enrichment programs. And then in 1994, they started their first fundraising campaign because they wanted to meet the needs of the community and have the experience be shared by every economic background. And then in 2002, we started our first full-time preschool program because there was a need for affordable preschool with quality care. And in 2014, we started having conversations with Community Board 9 and the West Harlem Development Corporation about community-based programs offering DOE 3K, 4K programs. And we're glad to say that many years later, now ACT is contracted with DOE, and we offer quality care DOE programs to 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. Our list is very long. Our wait list is long for very few spots. So we know that a lot of families who have called us and reached out is really about not just the environment of the nice outdoors that we have, as you can, oops, I don't know how to do this. That bottom left right side is the preschool classroom. It's a totally outdoor classroom. The kids nap outside, even in the winter, unless it's raining and snowing and very windy. it's really an experience that is like no other. And then in 2018, we partnered with the West Harlem Community Grant and to support us in giving opportunities for more families to experience ACT programs and the diverse place here in Manhattan. Let me just see how I can get rid of, there we go. So a little bit of, testimonies that parents have given us of how much they love, coming here and giving it this opportunity. And what we did to spread the word about our grant with West Harlem is that we emailed all the past and current families to help us get the word out. And then we provided many of them with printed flyers who lived in all the neighborhoods, because we wanted to get those flyers up in laundry mats, libraries, and other community centers. We also had a lot of families who posted it on their social media chat rooms. And then we've sent flyers to, Eric Adams and Levy and Sean. And then also the Cathedral Church has a social media staff member who then sent it out to those free newspapers you see outside. So what happened this year is that 4 families applied for the grant and 1 family was awarded. And the reason the other 3 was not awarded is only because they did not want to share any of their financial information with us. It was the only reason. And because a lot of young children are already in school, we didn't get a big turnout. But however, when it became, oops, sorry, I think this is so sensitive. When schools are closed, we run a full camp, and we were able, 10 families were able to apply, and all of them to this date has received it for the school vacation camp. And we're also, because it sort of ends on Friday, what's left with our community board, with our Harlem grant, we're going to be using it towards our summer camp for those who applied early. And at this point, it looks like only 3 families will be awarded. But we have, about 10 families who want that application. So in fiscal year 23, which we're on so far, we had 37 children in our preschool, nursery, after school, vacation camp, and summer camp apply. 10 of them receive full tuition coverage through our grant, our generous grant from West Harlem. And to date, what's left is about 1/3 of it is going to be that we've already used. The rest will be used for the summer camp to target the neediest families. And from the list, it looks like only 3 families will be awarded at this point, because census show that the income in this area, in community borderline areas, 53, and 23% live below poverty level. And we look to partner with a lot of places that can help with the grants, because I want to say that since Community Board 9 gave us this grant and we started to offer it to the most neediest, we realized the importance of this, of getting grants and providing this type of service. Our staff are, I do a lot of the staff training, and they are trained. They're not teachers. A lot of group leaders are not teachers. So there has to be trainings that impact them and help them understand how to do social emotional learning and guiding, but also to help them teach children their own passion also. The quote on the right, or the sentence on the right, is from a family who got the grant first time at ACT. And the child was a very quiet one, but all she did was talk about how great her group leaders were at the summer camp. And that takes us to this one. And these are our flyers that we sent out and send it to all the neighborhoods. And I just want to end that because I've started to, since coming on board and coming to these meetings, I've learned a lot about the Summer Youth Employment Program. We did partner with them last year, and we received 8 great people. And one of them started, you know, our social media platform and explaining it to us. And that's what the young people do. They know this stuff. We also, a lot of the information that all of you share on your presentation, I write down, I try to grab, and then I share it with all the ACT families in the community. We receive a lot of financial support from you guys, and also a lot of artists. Pierre was one of them who came and did huge murals with us, and we learned about Pierre through these meetings. And that ends my presentation. Okay, now what do you do? Sharing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Marie. Congratulations on the grants and using them to support families. I know that the grants do have some stipulations about what they should be used towards, but every organization is different. So I'm very proud of you guys for doing that and seeing the benefit of it. I'm very pleased. So I'm glad that you were able to, because some of those grants have even helped me to send my daughter places that we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And it's a great opportunity. So thank you for that. I'm very glad. I want to open it up to the floor. Does anyone have any questions for Marie at all? All right, I'm looking through the comments. Okay. I don't see any questions as of right now. All right, Marie, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful as usual.
Great
Yes.
presentation.
Marie,
Thank you.
please send us the flyers. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Deirdre.
Oh, no, I was just saying thank you, Marie. Great presentation.
Great.
Yes,
Thank
please
you.
send us a flyer.
Hi,
Sure.
Maria, could you put your contact information in the chat?
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, Lillian from the Artistic Dreams, I wrote down your information because I like to collaborate with programs who can come. We do have, our summer camp does have the arts and sports. And one of the things that we like to show our really young students is that it can be a job or it can be a passion that they can take as they get older.
Of course, we're happy to speak.
I love that.
Get in touch.
And, oh, sorry. Quick question for you, Marie. You mentioned that you had some summer youth last year. Do you plan to have some summer youth students this year as well?
So far, because we
That's great.
collaborated with the Road to Success. And so,
great.
yeah, so they're giving, so we want more this year. So we're looking.
That's awesome.
Because of their hours, we're able to collaborate and they have a lot of students. So we said if 10 is the max, we can also do, 15, and we can work with them.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's
this
really great.
We're just doing it a little different. We know they do orientation with them, but we found out that the orientation is just, how to sign in and out and how to get to work on time. And so when they come to us, we're going to do one full day of different types of orientation of leadership and listening and follow.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that, for contributing to our community that way as well. I appreciate it. I see Marissa has her hand up from Hypothecates. Marissa, feel free to unmute yourself. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Yes, Marie, thank you. I was wondering, do you do any science programming related to gardening?
Yes, so we're a turn off program. That means we have no electronic stuff. So we have a full garden and we've just started gardening inside. We also, since taking on the executive director's position, I've also written to, and this is for everybody, Whole Food gives out grants for gardening. And so we got our first one a couple of years ago was the bee grant. So we have bees on the ground and the kids do a whole bee study. And then the next one was about how to, flowers and edible from the, farm, from, farm to table kind of idea. And so we talked to the kids about if there's not a person of knowledge that has that information of when to plant, where can we get the resources? And so we look at resources. Do we go to the newspaper? How do we look at who do we ask? We have a gardener here. And so we've already started our indoor planting, but we do have a full garden.
That's great. I was just asking because
So cool.
we have some lessons related to gardening, and I was wondering if there were opportunities for collaboration, but we could talk later.
Definitely. I'll put my information on the chat.
Great.
I love that collaboration. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Before I move on, I just want to make sure no one else has their hand up. I don't see any hands, nor do I see anything new in the chat. Well, Jessica has one. Stacy, was that too? Okay. No. All right. No worries. Okay. Let's move on down the agenda to Lillian and Artistic Dreams. Lillian, please feel free to unmute yourself. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Shanika.
Thank
hello,
you.
Shanika. Thank you for welcoming me to this meeting, and thanks to everybody.
Absolutely.
I would like to share, if it's
Okay.
possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, not yet. Not available yet. Let me see, maybe it's me.
Says you're a co-host now.
Okay, thank you. Got it. I think everyone can see now. Can everyone see a big butterfly? Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So we are Artistic Dreams International, and we're devoted to transforming our life through the arts. So our mission is to nurture youth from 5. So pre-K, we do kindergarten basically through high school now. And our mission is for youth to become creative world citizens who can transform their own life and then also be able to transform their communities and do it through the arts. And this is our saying, create the world. We are able to create anything we think about. And we have been working since 2011 in West Harlem. And we essentially got our first grant from West Harlem Development Corporation in 2013. And that's how we began working full time. And we've been funded by West Harlem Development Corporation since then. Obviously, now we have many more funders, thankfully, but they were our first. We have gone through our 10th anniversary, now going on 12 years. We hold programs in public schools in New York City, in West Harlem, Central Harlem, East Harlem. Now we're looking at Bronx now, so we're expanding. And we also do programs in Mexico. So we are international. We do a lot of work with the Spanish-speaking community in New York. We do special cultural exchange programs since we have this ability to be bilingual, and myself being Mexican and bilingual. So we have been working for a long time in New York, and we've offered more than 435 hours of free programming per year. What we do at the core is we have the arts at the core, and we have 5 here, curricular pillars that I would love for you to know about. The first one would be art and mindfulness. This is our new area that we're devoted to. We've seen after the pandemic that a lot of our youth that we serve was a lot more uptight and was going through a lot of anxiety, and after so much screen time and being closed up. And so we developed art and mindfulness now, very needed, where kids can focus, calm down, and find resources to look inside and just find calm and find their true voice. And we do this through the art and art exercises of many types, and through teaching artists that are, well, experts in this mindfulness, which is something new, right? Something new that is developing, especially in the school. So we're bringing this to the schools. A second area that we handle is art and empowerment. And this focuses on a child creating a mission for their life and a vision for their life. It entails leadership, learning how to become a leader. And we do this again through art projects. It's really amazing how you see a child in 3rd grade, 4th grade have their first mission or vision for their life. And it can be something that is just for that moment in their life, but it's really exciting to see when they have a purpose. The next pillar is arts and world awareness. And this is where we focus on the UN development goal. So we look essentially at the problematic, at the issues happening in our world that affect all children. And our children look for solutions for world problems. And we do this through art. Then the last one, well, second to last one is art and world cultures. This is where our kids learn about the countries and cultures of the world. And this is a favorite. All public schools that we work with love this one because kids have a ton of fun. They really go into the culture and get immersed in, the culture of many African countries, East Asian countries, Arabic countries, South American countries. They love all this stuff. And we bring in music from that area of the world, and we do arts from that area of the world. And it's a lot of fun. And what we love especially is that a child then appreciates their own culture as well. We will visit their own heritage as well. So they're learning about their own culture and other world cultures. And that makes for a very inclusive and enriching and culturally aware child. And last but not least, we can do all of the above in English or Spanish. So we do a lot of work with ESL, and we make it available to the community. So that's the core of who we are. Go on to the next one. So what we do as far as services, no, sorry, not services. These are skills. Did I skip a slide? I don't know.
We're
Sorry.
at 5 minutes. That's okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I don't know why. Okay. So we do on-site classes in New York City. We do summer programs. We do virtual, and we do virtual exchange programs with other countries, school in other countries. And I'm just going to take you through, since we're out of time, through a commercial. So we are always looking for innovative people, engaged people, artists, positive thinkers that would like to join us as far as teaching in our ranks. So we're always looking for amazing people who want to make a difference in our community. The impact is growth mindset is, as you can see here, the kids really expand through growth mindset. And this stat is amazing. In just a few short years, the growth mindset in our kids really, really increases through our programs. And then just some pictures so you see some of the schools we served, and then I'll be finished. Funders and partners and more photos of the kids. Murals that we do at schools. And that's it. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, my email is right there.
Lydia popped up like right away with the hand up. Lydia, go for it. I love it.
I'm just going to age myself here and talk about something that we used to have in the public schools when I was a kid. It was called choral speaking. And it was wonderful. What you did is you went to this thing once a week, and we spoke out loud poetry and song lyrics. And it's just not given anymore, but it helped give us poise. It helped us with articulation. And I just wish it could be reintroduced, because I also worked at CUNY for many years. And I actually taught theater at Queens College for many years. And many of the students that have come to me do have problems articulating. They do have problems in feeling confident in speaking. And this is something that I think is engendered, but it is a mix almost of music and literature and speech. And it was called choral speaking. And they just stopped it, like they stopped a lot of things in public schools, because they don't want to subsidize this kind of stuff. But I think it's very critical. So I was just wondering about that, if there's something you've ever heard of, or that you might even be interested in looking into.
Thank you. I hadn't heard of it. So Lydia, if you want to talk, we can always talk. So we're always developing new curriculum, and we're flexible and open. So I know there's a lot of need for the arts in all institutions, especially for young children, because that's where it starts. And once you start, I mean, I don't know if everybody knows this, but National Endowment for the Arts statistic, once a child goes through any type of arts education in their elementary years, they have 3 times more likelihood to finish a college degree, just having arts in elementary school. So
Yeah, it's critical. I mean, what I used to tell students is that all of life is, in a sense, a kind of performance. You know, you're here as a presenter, you're there as a mother, you're here as a student. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just saying almost everything is a species of presentation in this world. You know, so all of this stuff is so critical.
yeah, so let's speak, let's share our information, and
Okay.
I'm happy to talk. Yeah.
Okay.
I have 2 more hands up. I have 3 more hands up. I have Deirdre, and then Stacy, and then Marissa. So Deirdre, please feel free to unmute yourself. The floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Lillian, for your presentation. Also
Yes.
great to know that you're in so many more schools and other organizations, as well as in international. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I'm just curious to know the schools within the community that your program is actually in.
Sorry, can you repeat
Also,
that?
what schools within CB9 or
Oh, of course.
do you serve?
We have a very strong partnership with Harlem Dowling Westside Center for Families. And they contain PS 161, PS 36, and PS 153. But we're also at PS 210 in West Harlem. And we've also been at PS 129 and PS 125. That's those are the
Thank
schools
you.
that are covered in CB9. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Wonderful. And Stacy, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Stacy. I'm representing Classical Theater of Harlem, and we do something similar to you, like you all, Lillian. How do you find I'm just curious, how do you find your teaching artists?
Right. We usually find them through other teaching artists, because artists know each other and they have their pool of contacts. So we first go through them. And if we exhaust that, then we do advertise. We go through Indeed, mostly, but we also go through NISCA and NIFA. I think I was mistaken. We don't go through NISCA. That's funding. We go through NIFA. Yeah. And then I didn't say this is another commercial. We also have Saturday programs for kids that not necessarily have to belong to a specific school. And we do this in public libraries. So if there are any kids interested in your programs that would like to attend our programs, they can do so on Saturdays at the George Bruce Library in West Harlem. And we have
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to begin this month, actually. So I can pass on that information.
All right, please do. What time? Do you know what time those classes
It's
will
gonna,
be?
I think it's 10:30 a.m. through 12, something like that.
When you have some information, please
I
share
will.
it with Deirdre and
I
I.
will.
We will get it out to the community.
Of course, I will. Thank you.
Okay. That's awesome. Marissa, I know you have your hand up. Please feel free to unmute yourself.
Yes, Lillian, I completely agree with the need for sort of a holistic approach and an emphasis on the arts. So my question to you is, how do you respond when people say, well, the arts don't lift people out of poverty? We provide science and engineering education, and we keep going back and forth with funders. Should we say we're STEM? Should we say we're STEAM? We do internally recognize the importance of the arts in creating a well-rounded individual, but we're trying to lift people out of poverty and get them into stable jobs. So I'm curious how you frame that.
I always go back to being the defender of the arts for children, for everyone, but specifically for children. And I go back to that stat of the National Endowment for the Arts that says, you know, if a child has arts, they have 3 times more probability of finishing a college degree. So if that doesn't lift someone out of poverty, then what will? Right? And then obviously there's also—
That's great to know.
Studies. There's also the studies that show, and I'm sure there are many out there. There's not one that comes to my mind right this instant, but they're out there about how culture lifts cities out of poverty. beginning with having theaters, having museums, and how you start with a family environment of culture and going outdoors or to the institutions that offer culture. And suddenly these neighborhoods become safe. And after these neighborhoods become safe, right, then there's a lot of economic movement happening in the neighborhood. So it all starts with culture and the arts.
I agree with you. That was helpful. Thank you.
Mhm.
And not only that, but I can only speak sort of as an object satellite here in this situation, because obviously you're the one applying for the grants and you're the one that has to present actual factuality. But all I can really say to that is that as we move forward in engineering and in where these robotics and apps are going to be taking us, especially with like ChatGPT and everything, art will be the thing that differentiates that individual for the job, because they will have to find a way to distinctively and creatively make their name. They will have to, the user interface that we all use with Instagram, how it looks, how it lays out, those people got the job because they were creatively inclined to make something that was appealing and aesthetic. And so art will always have a place with science, because science is easily digestible through creative vehicles. And so when you have that creativity, it's like there's no end to what you can do. So obviously, again, that's not a statistic you can quote, but I do hope that it gives you some oomph in your fight, because I've been like having this discussion on and off with Deirdre and Ken over the years about how art is going to be increasingly important going forward into our journey into the future now.
I was
right.
really surprised.
Oh.
Like, we interviewed a lot of people just to support your point, Shanika.
No.
I interviewed a lot of students interested in STEM, interested in our STEM programs. And when I asked them what they did apart from STEM, a lot of it was art related. So,
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
It starts
this.
with art. See, art opens up your brain to curiosity. So suddenly after the arts, the brain opens up, and then kids want to read. Kids want to find out more. And then they want to do robotics. They want to do coding. They want to do languages. They want to do
find it as another way to express themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about the intersection between art and science. So you ladies have your work cut out for you. But again, and I genuinely do mean this to everyone, because I say it to all of our presenters, literally thank you for the work that you are doing. It is important. It is needed. Thank you for looking out for our youth, because we need it. We want to have that partnership, and we don't want to let our kids go by the wayside. So that's
Not
very
only
important.
that, we, first of all, students, because I worked with engineering students, they're not just going to do one thing in their lives anyway. They're
That's
not
true.
worker bees.
That's true.
It's
a good
all
point.
of a package. It's man's expression, it's its reflection. Theater is the dream life of a people, David Mamet once said. So, at any rate.
No, you're right. You're right, Lydia. All right, wonderful. Oh, and I see. Oh, hi, Relis. I didn't know you joined us. Wonderful to see you. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, no, probably it's just an input in terms of like how to defend the arts. And I think now it's a lot easier to do that with the fact that we have so many children that are suffering from mental illness and all of that. The arts actually helps them a lot. And I think that this is the venue that can be used to basically ensure that you get the funding to be able to introduce it or to create a program for the children. In addition to that, obviously, the music and everything it's important. I know for a fact that even working in a bank, we have people with like different background. It's not just people that are good in finance or anything like that. You need people that also have that creative side, especially when you're working in projects and they see things completely different than the way that most people in that industry is looking at it. So definitely in engineering and like all these other careers that you may not think art is important, it is very important.
Very well said, Aurelis. Yes. We definitely have our work cut out for us. Okay. I want to make sure I'm looking through the attendees, make sure I'm not missing any hands. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. Really wonderful to hear from you. I'm very excited We are going to keep moving on because we still have a full agenda left ahead of us. Stacy has been patiently waiting. Classical Theater of Harlem. Stacy, please, do you need to show slides?
No, I don't. I'm just going to be
Okay.
a verbal
No
presentation
problem.
today.
Okay, please, the floor is yours.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for having me. My name is Stacy Scott, and I am the program coordinator for the Classical Theater of Harlem's Arts Education Program, which is called Project Classics. So our mission is to give young people the tools to create, empower, and connect through the arts. We go into elementary, middle, and high schools. We explore classical text. We have them write plays. They create new pieces, learn how to communicate in the arts inside of the schools as well as outside of the schools. We do voice and speech, scene study, improv, clown, basically anything that you can think of artistically. We are able to build a program around that for the different schools. Our mission is that theater belongs to all people. Just really quickly, the story about Project Classics genuinely was that at the very beginning, we went into the projects and knocked on the doors and said, hey, we're down in the community room. Does anybody want to come down and just do some improv? Does anybody want to come down and read a play? Does anybody want to come down and act out certain things? And so it has grown, obviously, from there. We traditionally go into Black and Brown spaces. And again, because we're coming from a create, empower, and connect space, our mission really is to make sure that we're giving those children a framework where they can see themselves in their stories and share themselves from their point of view. Just a really quick story. We were doing a writing workshop with a group of 6th graders, mostly Black students, and they were supposed to write a play. And one of the groups of students wrote a play, but they centered, all of their characters were white, blonde haired, blue eyes. And that really changed us because the fact that we brought these arts and they still were not centering themselves in their stories really affected us. And that's just such a big part of what we do and why we do it, because we really want to give these children the ability to see themselves in the fantastical, see themselves in the mundane, but genuinely see themselves. That's our biggest thing. We do 1-day workshops. We have full year residencies, or if you need a 4-week something, we offer those. And we also use teaching artists. Most of our teaching artists are working actors. So what's kind of cool about that is we bring in the acting community inside of the classroom so they can see those different concepts. Like you can see someone who's been on Broadway or is doing a show, and they're also in this classroom and you're seeing them up close, which is really, really cool. We also have a summer camp that we're going to be offering. It's a free Shakespeare intensive at the Dream Center. It's a 6-week program. It's completely free, and it's really, really amazing that we offer as well. And really quickly, some of the schools we're in for CB9 is the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem, PS 368, Columbia Secondary School, PS 153. I heard Lillian say that. New Design Middle for some of the CB9 schools. And right now we're probably in about 12 to 15 schools. We had a burst right at the end of the school year to get more people in. So we're working on that. So that is just a very, very quick snippet of Classical Theater of Harlem, Project Classics. Not going to take too much time, but yeah, that's where we are.
Well, I have a quick question. When you first started and you were going like door to door, did you get the response?
Yeah. Going,
awesome.
yes. People, because
so glad.
It's such an interesting thing about this arts. People really are starved for expression. Like
Yes.
people want and need to express themselves. And so, yeah, they'd come down, you have a good time, you release, and then you go back upstairs. So it's a very, very cool thing. Of course, like I said, it's graduated into being in schools and all of that and summer programs. But yeah, that's how it started.
That's awesome. I see you got some rounds of applause up here as well. This is fantastic. I do see a hand up. Jessica, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Stacy. So great to meet you. I've worked
Hello.
in the past with somebody else in the organization, and we've actually, for many years, hired your teaching artist at the festival. But somehow that thread was lost. So I'm wondering, are you the person in charge of the program now?
I'm the coordinator, so I handle all of the emails and the coordination, but Mechia Harnwa is our director, but I can definitely get connected. I am going to drop my information if anyone needs to connect, and I can make the connection.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, good. Making connections. I love that. Quick question now. What I missed this because I did hear you say middle school students. What age group are you focused on with this particular aspect of Classical Theater of Harlem?
We actually do from kindergarten through 12th grade. We do every age group. It's just based on what the school needs, and we build the program from the ground up. So if they want a general theater workshop, right now we're supporting some students. They're doing the whiz, and so they want to bring the teaching artists in to ease on down the road. And so that's what we're going to do. We're helping them ease on down the road with that. We have a class we're working on Macbeth. So we're supporting them with Macbeth. We have some writing workshops where they're going to be writing their own plays. And then we're bringing professional actors in to perform the play. So arts really is important. And it just, again, it gives these kids expression. And again, our main thing is we really want them to see themselves, because that really hurt us when these 4 Black children wrote these white characters and they did not see themselves at all in this world. So that's a part of our big mission is you need to see yourself in this. Culture is you and you're creating it. So
yes. Oh, I love, thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. I wanted to know, you mentioned that the kids can write their own plays and you're going to bring in actors to perform.
Yeah, one of our schools that we have been
so nervous.
Yeah, we have them break into 4 or 5 groups, depending on the class size. And we just guide them through creating their own play. We have a little judge system and we vote on one play. And then we bring in professional actors to see, they can actually see them from beginning all the way to the end of the process of like their words coming to life here in the different voices, directing and stuff. So even though it sometimes, and I want to thank you all because it sometimes can feel like the world is going to S and like so much stuff is just wrong. It's just beautiful to see people who are committed to trying to make changes genuinely with our youth. It's so important. And I just thank all of y'all to just for the work we're doing. It gets me emotional because it matters. It really does matter. So thank y'all too. But yeah, that is what we do.
Absolutely beautifully said. It matters. Thank you. All right. Before I go, I want to make sure I've gotten all the questions. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Stacey.
Thank you, everyone.
Really wonderful to hear from you. And Jaya, I see you've been waiting. The floor is yours, Jaya. Do you need to share screen?
I don't. I'm just going to be doing a verbal presentation. Thank you for having me. This is my first year as director of Broadway Presbyterian Church Nursery School. The previous director was Amy, and she was around for 13 years. So it's really been an honor so far this year to be the director of this school. And I just wanted to say it's very cool listening to all of the people doing stuff with kids that have to do with art and creativity. That's a big thing for us too. We think it's very important. So we're a nonprofit school on Broadway and 114th Street. We're inside of a church, but we are not a religious school. And we're very small. We're just 2 classrooms and a toddler playgroup. So we have kids starting at 1.5, but they come with their parents for a playgroup 2 times a week. And then our 2 classrooms are 2s and 3s and 3s and 4s. So our philosophy is really about the whole child. We talk about the whole child approach, and that means incorporating all types of learning. So that's creative learning, it's hands-on learning, it's social emotional learning, and teaching academic skills or pre-academic skills through hands-on means. So we're really about play-based progressive education. the children do projects as well, which is kind of unique to our school. And project-based learning is about the teachers listening to the children's interests and then creating a curriculum based on that. So an example would be that the 2s and 3s class started talking about ovens in the beginning of this year, the ovens in their homes. And so it turned into this whole curriculum about what is an oven used for. They made a pretend oven, they made pretend cookies, and we started inviting families in to share recipes, and they started cooking. There's a soup kitchen at the bottom of the church. They visited the soup kitchen, they baked cookies for the soup kitchen. And so a lot of the time when curriculum is coming from young children, it actually becomes more meaningful. It's, it becomes a very meaningful social emotional curriculum that they connect to. So they're learning things like drawing shapes, but it's drawing pizzas or drawing cookies that they were baking for the soup kitchen, or measuring things. So anyway, that's a little bit of background about our curriculum. Our staff is very highly trained. So all of our head teachers have master's degrees. We do a lot of staff training in social emotional learning and child development. We just had a recent training on working with children in the classroom who may have different learning differences or special needs. So that's something that's also really special about our school. We really care about providing very quality childcare and schooling for young children. We're also very aware of wanting to be diverse in every way. That means socioeconomically as well, and racially, and all sorts of families. We want as much diversity in our school as possible. And so the grant that we received fully went to financial aid in our school. It's, I think a lot of nonprofit schools are seeing that there are more and more people who need financial aid. There's more families that are made up of 2 working parents. And so people need longer days. We've increased our days to for children to stay till 5:30. And we're just seeing more people who need financial aid. So we were really lucky to be able to use this money to provide for families that otherwise wouldn't have been able to come to our school. And, just some information on that, one family was a single parent household, another one was 2 moms. It's kind of across the board, all sorts of people who were able to come to our school because of this, the ability to provide financial aid. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're a little place. We have about, we can only have 32 students. So it's a very warm and welcoming little school.
That's fantastic, Jaya. Question for you. So congratulations on your new position, because you mentioned that you're taking over. You're very welcome. Thank you, and good to see you. We hope to see you often. Question for you now. You mentioned about the grant being used towards financial aid. However, are you able to offer a sliding scale beyond that at all? Just curious.
We're not really able to offer a sliding scale, but we do take financial aid applications anyway, so it's not like we cannot give any financial aid without, the grant money is very much appreciated because we can just give more financial aid, and we're so small that otherwise we won't be able to give as much at all. But we're always open for financial aid applications, and we look at each individual family, and we also look at expenses and debt, and really, take the time to try to give it to the most needy families.
Oh, wow, that's nice. And how many staff do you have? You mentioned you have just the 2 classrooms and the one like small littles at the parent and me class. So how many staff do you have on site?
We have 6 teachers, and then me, and a school administrator who helps she works for the church and the school.
Awesome. Fantastic. Oh, I see Deirdre has her hand up. Deirdre, please feel free.
Hi, Jaya, congratulations. I may have missed it because I was writing. I just want to know how many students, how many kids are in your program?
So there can be up to 32. Right now we have about 25.
Okay.
And what's the admissions process like?
So we're an ISAGNY school. That's a group of independent schools that are part of the Admissions Association of Greater New York. So our process is that technically we start taking applications for the next year in August. So you know, I'll be taking applications for for fall 2024 this August. And then the admission season goes through that time into March. And then, you know, most of the people will be applying during that time and then getting acceptance letters in March. But honestly, I think a lot of other, you know, nonprofit schools who are part of ISAGNY will tell you this as well, that I think schooling is changing a lot. I think people are, like I said, I think they need full-time programs. I think they need more financial aid. And so the process is getting a little bit antiquated, I think. And so we technically have rolling admissions. You know, we do follow that schedule, but we'll take applications at any point in the year. And if we have space for a child, we would take them.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Awesome. Good to know. All right. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for your presentation, Jaya.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Moving right along. Jessica, you've been waiting patiently. Please, you know, yes. Do you need the ability to screen share?
You know, I'll just go, yeah, I'll show the website. I'll scrub through that.
Give me 2 seconds. Okay, you're the co-host. Please feel free.
Okay. Okay, so NYC Kids Fest has been around since 2006, and we began in Morningside Park. Then, and in the past, in 2020, 2019, we expanded to Jackie Robinson Park. And this year we have some really big news, which is we're expanding to Marcus Garvey Park. So it will be for 3 days. The dates this year are Friday, June 23rd, Saturday, June 24th, and Sunday, June 25th. The date that is in Morningside CB9 is Saturday, June 24th, and that will be right on West 113th Street between on Manhattan, sorry, between 113th and 114th Street. And then Jackie Robinson will be on June 25th, and Marcus Garvey is in the Richard Rogers Amphitheater. The date will be for the first time on Friday, a school date. And this is the weekend that is the weekend right before the public schools. The last day of the public schools is the Tuesday, whatever that Tuesday is. I guess that would be the 27th. So first of all, thank you so much for having us on the meeting. And I'm just extraordinarily excited by all of the people who have presented, because I think there's room for, like, I want to collaborate with each and every one of you. And I feel like there's really a space. I want to show you a quick video of a collaboration that we had a couple of years ago with an organization called Our Children, which helps formerly incarcerated women reunite with their families and find them housing and get jobs. And we worked with their kids. We had an 8-week workshop, and then the kids performed at the festival. And I just have let me see where it is, a little video of that warm up. Is it?
Give up.
There's no sound, but I sure can see them. They got them working out.
Oh, there's no sound.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's coming intermittently. But boy, they got them working out.
Okay, yeah. So okay, that's where there's no sound, but can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So anyway, this year we've hired Lyra Baptista, who I want to bring on in 1 second, because she is the school and community liaison. What we're really trying to do this year is grow the festival, and, you know, like I said before, develop these collaborations. And in the past, we've worked with a lot of elementary schools, but not enough, and not enough of local organizations. So Lara will be the one who will be, reaching out, well, to you guys, but also, well, let me let Lara speak about that. Lara, are you there?
Hi,
connect to
yes.
them?
Hi, everyone. Like Jessica was saying, I'm the school and family liaison. I've been in communication with a few organizations locally to each area as to where each event is going to be happening, but I'm more than happy to communicate with all of you and just share a little bit more about the festival, a little bit more about what Kids Fest is all about, and see how we can grow together in this community. I'm really looking forward to working with Jessica because Harlem is very near and dear to me. I was born and raised here. And so Kids Fest specifically promotes just the growth of the community within a unique festival format of art, dance, and just educationally rich experiences like those workshops that really support the whole family. So being a part of this with Jessica and sitting here in a meeting like this where other great organizations communicate their devotions to the community is just truly inspiring. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Jessica, and thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Yeah, I know we're short on time, so I don't know, maybe I don't just have open it up to any questions.
I don't see any hands up right now. I know you mentioned some of the things you did in the previous festivals. Do you have anything special lined up this year? I know you're still like getting your lineup together, however.
We are still getting the lineup together, but really what we want to do is to, there's one of the main ways that we are looking to collaborate is to have organizations or schools that have music, dance, or theater teachers come in and give them the opportunity to have the kids perform alongside the professional performers. I mean, the professional performers that we hire are pretty much world-class performers. We have people like in the past couple of years that have, won the Grammys for children's music. And, that's always been one of the main missions of Kids Fest is to give children the opportunity to perform in a public space. Not that that's fantastic performing in your school, but really to build esteem through the performance opportunity. So we're really looking to expand that opportunity. So, and plus get the word out more, just in terms of attendance. And, as I said, it's on Saturday. It's the neighborhood. It's in a residential block right in front of Morningside. We're no longer allowed to produce the festival inside Morningside Park, but we have now a partnership with the Department of Transportation to do it, but the street is closed down in front of Morningside.
Congratulations on that. That's really great because most of the time, once the option for the park is gone, we see a lot of those festivals disappear. So kudos to you, Jessica, for keep pushing. Yeah, really, yeah. And I mentioned it to you before in years past, building those relationships is going to be crucial. Congratulations, Laura, for your position there, and you going to help her work together and build something even more fantastic on top of what she's already built. So that's great.
She's totally a powerhouse and really the secret sauce. So I'm very, very excited.
You two together is going to be really great for our community. So I'm looking forward to it. Fantastic work, ladies. I want to make sure I open up the floor to questions. Does anyone have any questions for our team here? All right. Well, I want you to please continue to send us updated flyers. You know that we will get this out to the community, and I always post on my Instagram as well. And get the community going. We may have to get old fashioned with things too. We may have to start posting things up on the poles outside again.
Yeah, I did have a question for you. Yes. I saw that the CB9 has a newsletter. What's the process as to get our information on the newsletter?
Well, if you email us, we can forward it to them. But if you want to get the newsletter, I can have them add you to the mailing list. I'm going to pop our email in the chat now.
Okay, that's great.
And I have Jessica's email, but Laura, please send me yours as well.
Okay, I will.
All right. One moment. Absolutely. All right. So while I'm typing that and everyone's looking at me, because I don't know if anyone realizes you go in the chat, but people can still see your face. So you're making funny faces while you're typing. and I chew on my tongue. Let's move on to, oh, Hypotha Kids. All right, Hypotha Kids, Marissa's been talking to us all night. Marissa,
Hi.
oh, wonderful,
Yes, I'm a
wonderful to have you
curious
joining
person.
us. No,
I'm
we
happy to be
want
here.
that.
Great.
It's fantastic
This
to
is my
see.
first meeting, so I am the
But
incoming
not your
executive
last.
director, but yes, definitely not my last. I honestly didn't know what to expect, and I was very inspired by everyone. I am taking over for Christine Kovich. So some of you may have met her in the past. She's moving into a strategic advisor role, and I'm taking over as executive director. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I'll give you a quick intro to Hypotha Kids. We were founded about 10 years ago. Our mission is to provide STEM. I'm going to switch that to STEAM now that I've heard from Lillian. STEAM education to K through 12 students who are underserved, who come from backgrounds that are underrepresented in the STEM field. We have high school programming. We have an engineering design program that's in close collaboration with Columbia University. We have another high school program where we train students in research lab and professional skills, and then we place them in summer internships. Shanika, you were asking a lot about SYEP. We do have placements that are funded by SYEP in academic institutions and industry labs, like Columbia, Cornell Weill, New York Proton Center this year, and then biotech startups, and also larger life science companies. So we're trying to get these students work-based training and experience so that they can get into jobs that are secure and will help to lift them out of poverty. But what WHDC is funding is our elementary programming. So we offer hands-on science to elementary age students. And we do it citywide, but we also work within District 9 in the extracurricular time. So we provide innovative hands-on science curriculum, and then teacher training and all the supplies in one box that every kid needs to do science. So these fun and engaging lessons spark an interest in STEM at a young age, because we want to fuel their STEM identities and empower them to believe that they are very capable of entering these fields when they get older. We want to set them on a path to success in a high-tech world. So there have been many reasons that there's a lack of hands-on science curricula in schools, including like a lack of training of teachers, or lack of confidence in the subject matter, intense pressure on teachers to meet academic accountability goals in math and ELA, and they just can't afford that. They just can't afford the supplies. So our programs are designed to give these after-school educators everything they need to serve children of color in high needs communities like West Harlem, who are typically categorically not represented in STEM fields. So in the District 9, we're working at the Manhattanville Community Center, PS 368, which I heard mentioned earlier. And then we also have been training librarians. We're actually training them in 19 branches of the New York Public Library. One of them is in District 9, Hamilton Grange Library. And then we're also embarking on a program to train. It's part of Future Ready NYC. I don't know if anyone has heard of this program, but it's a citywide initiative to encourage work-based training within high schools to make education more relevant to the work world. And there are multiple pathways, and one of the pathways is an educator pathway, meaning that if a kid in high school wants to become a teacher, well, let's train them as soon as we can. So we are working in one school in the Bronx right now as sort of like a pilot, training them on how to teach our science curriculum. And eventually this will come back to serve the district. This model, we hope, will come back to serve the districts, because this district is like poised to be at the heart of a biotech economy, because of the proximity to Columbia. And we're trying to create a STEAM sort of talent pipeline that reflects the diversity of New York, and includes our community. And that's it.
That's awesome. I have questions, but I see Lydia has her hand up. So Lydia, you go first. Unmute yourself.
I'm unmuting myself. Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I worked with engineering students at CCNY for almost 20 years. A lot of them had to come back to school to be retrained, because you must be aware now that a lot of these fields are changing very rapidly. A lot of them are outsourced. The fields evolve in different ways. So that was always an issue. I had students that would come back and be going into other fields, management and going into business. I think what I'm trying to say, it's not always the surefire way to a sinecure for the rest of your life. Not that it's not important, but I just wanted to bring that up, that it's also, it's not completely a guarantee.
A guarantee, right, right.
Which nothing really is. Now, the second thing I want to say is that also some of what you're talking about is the stuff in the high school about work related. There is a debate now in higher ed about what is now being called the vocationalization of not only higher ed, but of high schools. I have mixed feelings about it. I really think we had students coming into us from high schools who basically are not literate and not numerate. And these are really basic skills. Well, being overly trained to be, as I used this word before, worker bees. So it is an ongoing debate right now about what we're really offering. Training is one thing, and that's what it sounds like to me, not what you're doing, but in terms of this work related, and education is something else. The word education comes from the Latin educare, to draw out, and training is sort of this over specialization. So I just wanted to bring that out. I think we have to prepare these kids for a future that is evolving so rapidly. I mean, look what's going on with these tech jobs now all over the country. A lot of them are out of work, these computer people. So they have to be, I guess, flexible is what I'm trying to say.
Flexible, right, adaptable.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, so I completely agree with you. I think it's important to develop the whole person. Our programs are not designed to replace other subjects matter. It's more to enhance. And in fact, we even have a theater company coming in because we recognize that presentation skills, people skills, they're just as important as technical skills. What was your last point that I wanted to address?
No, we talked about the vocationalism.
Look, right. So it's a balance. So we definitely want to create whole beings who are literate, but we also want to give them the skills to get work. Oh, the other point I wanted to address was that what we try to do is be in close connection with employers. So we're an outreach arm of Harlem Biospace, which is a biotech incubator. And so we're constantly speaking with the people who run those companies to find out what skills do they need that they're not getting from the labor pool. And then we're developing those skills specifically, we adapt our trainings to the labor. So it's very important that your trainings be responsive to the labor market.
I just want to add one more thing. There was some complaints we got about our engineering graduates who were absolutely able to do the math and stuff, was that they weren't articulate. They didn't write well. They didn't present well. I mean, so I mean, there are all these other skills that are not completely occupationally linked, but are important in getting off the factory floor.
Absolutely.
Writing is really critical. And actually, I've been in higher ed 40 years, so I taught for many years. The writing skills over the years have really deteriorated. And what's going on now with the internet and stuff and emojis and all this stuff, it's gotten worse, but it is an issue. So that's all I want to just emphasize, these other skills underwriting all of this vocational training.
Yeah, and I would love to talk to you in another context, because we are actually trying to break into community college. So because I know there's a huge attrition rate for community college students, and helping them to focus on something that's going to lead to a job is what we would love to do.
Right.
So I would love to pick your brain.
Yeah, I wasn't at a community college. I was at the
I thought you said
CCNY is a 4-year.
Oh, got it.
I taught at Queens College for 15 years. So it's always 4-year schools.
Got it. In any case, I would love to know what skills they had that were not being welcomed by the workplace.
Right.
You know what though? I'm gonna jump in really quick though, and I'm just gonna say that, and Anthony, I do see your hand. I just want to say that that them not having those skills is also like, this is why I said like it takes the whole village, because perfect example, my daughter wrote a teacher an email about an assignment. This was in 8th grade, and she like signed it with like some emojis, and I was like, no, let's not. And she was like, well, and the teacher was like, a lot of the teachers, especially in charter schools, and she was in charter school at that time, are younger. They're not seasoned, and so they're trying a different path, and I don't have an issue with that, because as you try to relate to the new generation, and Lydia, I know you know this better than I do because you were teaching, you try new things, so it's fine. But I guess I'm old fashioned in my ways, but I said, the best way to communicate is with words. And I know emojis are a great shortcut, because sometimes we read into words too much. We think that our tone is mean or maybe cruel or inappropriate, or somehow we read into it. If we state plainly what we want, then the person now has to read plainly what is said. And so like reading also is an important skill, but like parenting is also an important skill. Not that I'm perfect at it. I'm still working on it all the time, but I'm just saying, like, so it does take that village. Schools have been churning out factory workers forever anyway, Lydia. So at least the program, I don't know that it's great. I have no idea. But if the idea of the program is to make sure that the students are leaving maybe with a work set mindset. I'm watching people come, I work at a hotel, I'm watching people come to the hotel for job interviews, and like, I don't even know how to explain other than say like Instagram chic. I don't know what the word is. They've got like, they're wearing like high waters with their colorful socks, which is cute, but get the job first. You can never go wrong with a nice suit. You can never go wrong with a clean resume.
Yeah.
Let your personality shine. I know that it must seem boring to them now, but more often than not, the ones that come too comfortable, my director doesn't even look twice at them. So anyway, I say all that to say that it might be nice to try something other than the old-fashioned school approach, which wasn't even made for us to really explore any of our inner workings anyway. That it was created as a way to kind of have the kids to go somewhere so that the moms could work at the factories and the fathers could go off to war. So maybe something a little different could be good. I don't know. But
I think we're all in agreement that, education has to be more responsive to the real world.
Yes, but not just responsive, but like reflective. Reflective, not just respond to what we're seeing, but also reflective of what's actually happening. Because like, it's really cute. Like, I'm having this debate with my teenager now about whether or not the things that I think are appropriate are old fashioned or not. But in reality, perception is reality.
Yes.
And so it's important that you understand that how you go, how you speak, it doesn't matter if you're not the best English speaker. Are you clear? Are your intentions well understood? Like, those are the things employers look for. I see people get chosen all the time that may have lesser of those attributes,
Qualifications,
but they
yeah.
can, yes, but they are able to do the job.
Present,
They
yeah.
understand, yes, they understand how to be personable. They understand how to be on time. They understand how to get the job done. And that's something that's almost escaping our students. So anyway, that's my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anthony, you got your hand up. Please go ahead, and then Jaya after you.
Mine is very quick. Chris, my partner, took up a lot of time because he loves having these presentations. That's part one. Part two, I read an article. It's advocates for community college defend them as the underdogs of America's higher education system. So once again, whoever has a way of helping kids who have to go to community college, please give them the resources to give them. We try all the time to do so. Community college is being left behind because of different reasons. It's the most inexpensive place that you can get a higher education. So I'm a big proponent of helping those kids that are forced to go to those schools. I'd rather them go to other schools, but if we don't help the community college students, the schools may close, which will cause another vacuum that we all will have to contend with, which is going to be unfair because those kids that can only afford to spend $3,000 a year to go to a college of that ilk will then be maybe doing something else that we don't want them to do. So that's part one. Part two, Chris Snell, my partner, left out the fact that we have SWAG, SWHG. I might have brought this up in a prior meeting. That's something that is for minorities that want to do healthcare, student athletes with goals and aspirations in the healthcare field. So if anybody knows of any kids that want to possibly take that road, there's less than 2% of minorities that fill those voids right now. Less than 2% are doctors, veterinarians, trainers, whatever you want to call it. And that's another vacuum that has happened for some unapparent reason. I am not an educator. I am a person who's filling a void at my job, trying to help kids get to the next place. So all you smart people, as I listen to you all speak, and I am complete. The reason why I stay on these calls is because I love hearing how smart everybody else is. And it gives me more drive to continue in what my energies are. So trust me, I love the conversations for multiple reasons, but the vacuums that are being created, which is what we're all are talking about, we got to stop them somehow from going the wrong way. We've got to get them to go to a vacuum positive way as opposed to a vacuum negative way. Thank you very much.
Well, Anthony, I just want to say my nephew went to a 2-year school, BMCC, and he liked it better. We sent him to a 2-year school. No problem with the 2-year school.
None whatsoever.
No, but he's worried about them going away too. And if they're not funded and not attended because we're trying to get kids elsewhere or whatever. So
And
yeah, no.
Going away is disappearing. It's
disappearing, right?
Yes, those words that we all utilize sometimes get missed in conversation because schools are closing. Guess what schools are going to go first? Probably the ones that are so less supported. And we're in positions that we could possibly have kids, be more productive, let's call it. So
well, Anthony, just to reassure you that someone's paying attention, I know that the Economic Development Corporation is very concerned about the attrition rate of community college, and they've sent out a request for proposals from organizations that could help reduce that attrition rate.
I would love for any information that you guys have, because that's my world, which I deal with all these kids on a daily basis, there's nothing we can do. We're trying our best to fill those voids and help these kids move forward in our communities. But guess what? We're talking about a very small sample size of kids. What about the kids that aren't getting this attention?
And there's a lot of them. Yeah. Jaya, I know you have your hand up. Please feel free to unmute yourself.
No, I'll just say something quickly, which is I was just inspired by what you were saying about your teenager and when we were talking about well-roundedness kind of in education. I think it's important when anyone's doing a program like or teaching writing or anything like, especially when you're talking about writing. I have an MFA in poetry along with my master's in education, so I really care about stuff like that. But you can teach your child that when we're doing creative writing, there's different types of writing, right? Like there's creative writing, there's playwriting, like Stacey was talking about. you can use like art with writing. You can do found poetry, which is like, you know, you can find poems in other people's, like, I think it's important for people, the people here too, who are doing art programs or STEAM programs, to think about all the ways, you know, within your own area of study that you can teach children, like, that it's okay to use emojis, but there's like a place to use them, you know, like not getting rid of the creativity, or not, because I think that does speak to them too. Probably your daughter is communicating, you know, that's the way she communicates, but like, and that's fine. But, you know, when you're getting a job, you have to communicate this way. I just think anyway, I just had that thought.
No, you're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. And you know what? If it was a different type of email, maybe. So that's something to think about.
Right. Not
So
an
you're
email. No,
absolutely right. I love that.
I even find
No,
parents email me now with them.
It takes a village, you know. You guys say something in the meeting and we incorporate it in our lives. It takes a village, so that's important. I want to make sure I'm not missing any additional questions. I thought I saw someone else's hand. Okay, forgive me, because I can get carried away talking about education for hours. The regulars know that I will talk about this all night. All right. Before I kind of finish up, I did want to really quickly, there are some opportunities where summer youth is not applicable. Like Jaya, I don't think you would need any summer youth employers at the nursery with little children. That wouldn't be an option. But Classical Theater of Harlem, is that a curiosity for you? Do you want to know more about it?
We would definitely be open to that. That'd be great.
All right, so I'll email you guys. We're trying to put together a little webinar, let you know, like, completely free labor, but like Marie said earlier, and I really like this point, you're going to give them a little day of training and make sure you're all on the same page with what it is that you expect of them. It's free labor, but not like, you know, you don't want to abuse them, but you want them to be useful and learn some good skills. So yes. Oh, Lydia. Yes. Okay, Lydia. We'll talk about that.
I'm interested in that too. Thank you.
Good. Okay. All right. So Stacy, Lillian, I will send you an email in a little bit and just follow up with you both. And then Jessica, I know that the Kids Fest is happening, but if you have any need for maybe like one kid in the summer that can help with even just filing or any kind of paperwork, please feel free to let me know. All right. Or Laura.
Yeah, Jessica hopped off, but I'll definitely communicate that to her.
All right, I'll just send you both the email and we'll go from there. All right. I just want to make sure, trying to make sure we have enough summer youth opportunities in our neighborhoods. We want our youth to not just be of service in our community, but also see the great things that are happening. It is our deep hope that it communicates to them that this is their home, and so that they are more likely to protect it in a healthy and positive way versus a negative way. And furthermore, sometimes they don't want to go out of their neighborhood because of other drama. It's like we're in turf wars again. So it's best that they can work in their communities or closer to home. So I'm trying to make sure that we, you know, one hand washes the other. We pour into our community and the youth can pour right back into our organizations. And it's a beautiful cycle if we can create it. So, okay. All right. And Anthony, let me know. I know you mentioned you have, Chris mentioned that you might have one or two. Let me know if you need any help. All right. Like I mentioned, we are in touch with them. All right. And I am happy to call the meeting to close unless Deirdre, you say otherwise.
I just had one thing to add.
Ken, please.
I know this weekend is HBC, just more of a plug, but I know it's HBC Spring Coming is happening at Riverside Park and 145th Street and Riverside Drive. Happening from 12 to 5. And they're going to be presenting some youth with, you know, some checks in support of their getting into HBCUs, and it's a fun time. The weather is supposed to be ridiculous for anyone that was outside today. And I know that they've been kind of organizing it for the past 7+ years, and using the park as kind of a space to convene folks. It's family friendly. But yeah, that's happening on Saturday, April 15th from 12 to 5 p.m., 145th Street and Riverside Drive.
Yeah, and just to jump in, feel free to bring your not quite college ready youngster to that, because my mom used to drag me to that stuff when I was like 12 or 13, and I actually, it helped. You know, I think that's the reason that I was able to really push, because, you know, it does get hard going for higher education. So feel free to bring even kids that are not quite ready, just to kind of get a glimpse of their future, their possible future. All right. I see some notes.
I just
All
wanted
right.
Lisa to share her email if she can. Thank you.
Okay. And Jaya, thank you for your note. Really quick, do you have the form? Can you just send it to me? I can fill it out.
Oh, it's a form.
Yes, and
Okay.
so when I'm
Can
at
I
work
email it to you?
tomorrow, you can email it to me.
Okay.
I'll put the email again in the chat, and then tomorrow, me and Deirdre at work, we can print it out and fax it back to you, or scan it back in the email.
Okay, great. What I might just do this evening is just put you on an email with Joanna, just so
fine.
she knows that I was here.
No worries, no worries. And if
Okay.
you need us to, we have a blank form. So if she does give
Oh,
me and you don't have yours, we can do that too.
okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks,
we do need to
everybody.
complete the forms, so everyone
All
can
right,
send
so
their forms to us.
I was
Thank
gonna say,
you.
everyone send your forms to our
Marissa, I
email.
have your form. Thank you.
And
Okay,
remember
great.
that we are not always in the office. So give us, you know, like, obviously this week is easier, today, tomorrow, but I'm off on Fridays. Deirdre usually has a busy day on Fridays because she's amazing. And she's like, Deirdre, I don't know how
We'll
you do
share the
all the work you
responsibilities.
do.
Everyone, we
Yes,
can share the responsibilities.
yes,
Everyone,
Deirdre, but
wonderful.
no, Deirdre, you know all the people, and then I do this part. But you know you have all the connections. That's it.
Have a wonderful evening, and thank you all for
All
your
right.
wonderful presentations. Continue to keep up
Yes.
the great work you're doing for our scholars and community. Blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Shanika.
thank you.
Shanika, I just wanted to ask you a
Everyone.
question.
Yes, Lydia, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to
Oh,
talk
well,
to
the
you.
meeting is adjourned, by the way, and I'm going to stop the recording now. All right, bye,
Good night,
Stacy.
everybody.
Bye.